President Biden addressing the Ukraine crisis in Europe.
The largest displacement crisis, not only of our time, but in decades.
As the head of the USID does the same thing in South Florida. Governor DeSantis declaring his own national champion.
Emma is the best female swimmer in the 500 meter.
After a victory by a transgender woman. Plus, blossoms in bloom.
It's just nice to walk around and it's beautiful.
As DC marks its own start to spring. These stories and more are coming up on Newsbreak.
Good morning, South Florida. I'm Julian Davis.
And I'm Zitlali Solate. Today is Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022.
From the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
As Russia's war continues to cause massive civilian casualties, President Biden boards Air Force One. He's flying to Brussels later today for tomorrow's emergency NATO summit on Ukraine. Just like the president, the head of USAID is discussing the impact of the crisis in Ukraine.
But she's doing it right here in South Florida, and yesterday she was at FIU.
USAID Administrator and Pulitzer Prize-winning author Samantha Power paid a visit to FIU's MMC campus for the Memorandum of Understanding signing ceremony. Power met with students and faculty to discuss future areas of collaboration and their involvement with the crisis in Ukraine.
Ukraine right now is suffering the largest displacement crisis, not only of our time, but in decades.
Powell stated that the USAID aims to provide families in Ukraine with shelter, food, medical assistance, and medical aid.
So we are trying to meet them where they are with their needs. So to provide organizations that are working on the ground in Ukraine, like the United Nations and the World, resources so that when a family comes in, they can be sheltered, they can be fed.
In addition to signing the memorandum, Power also discussed various topics, including climate variability, international developments, LGBTQ rights, and their efforts in assisting Latin American journalists.
And so what we try to do is we try to fund independent media in Latin America, in Central America, in some of the places where violence is the worst.
Power also emphasized how they are assisting Latin American journalists who are facing threats in their countries with funding and protection.
Grow the independent media landscape to enhance the commercial viability of independent media, and to try to look ahead and think what are the new threats that are coming online so that they have protection against those as well.
And in a brief conference, she spoke to FIU's LGBTQ Pride Center committee and discussed incentives that should be implemented on campus.
FIU and USAID have had a 40-year relationship. Since the 1980s, FIU faculty and researchers have joined USAID in launching groundbreaking reforms worldwide.
2 lives tragically gone after a crane collapse in South Florida. It was yesterday near Boynton Beach. The crane collapsed at a construction site. Both victims were construction workers and identified as 32-year-old Jeremiah Mendez and 25-year-old Eduardo Cruz Moran. Authorities have not given details about the cause of the collapse and are currently investigating the incident.
Today, a Florida man is waking up in the hospital after abruptly being attacked by a tiger. Officials are saying the 50-year-old wooden employee improperly entered the tiger's territory at the Tours Animal Sanctuary near Naples, causing him injuries to both arms. The tiger's caretakers were able to safely contain the large cat, which did not cause any harm to the animal.
The Supreme Court Justice confirmation hearing for Miami Rays Ketanji Brown Jackson concluded its second day of questioning yesterday. The hearing spanned over 13 hours, with senators grilling Jackson on an array of different topics, ranging from her judicial philosophy to detailed breakdowns on some of her past rulings. The hearing is set to continue today with the third and final day of questioning.
The nation's capital surrounds itself with pink and white flowers for a special event that happens only once a year. The network's Daniela Jaramillo from our DC bureau is in DC this morning.
The National Cherry Blossom Festival is the 110th anniversary of the gift of the trees from Japan as a symbol of friendship between the two countries. I am at the Welcome Arena at the Tidal Basin, which is one of the many events that the festival has to offer. Folks from the area and all over the world come to enjoy food and fun during the Cherry Blossom Festival for people of all ages. The festival is back after being canceled 2 years in a row because of the pandemic.
It's my highlight, and seeing all the beautiful flowers bloom on the trees is really nice against the water.
It's my first time here. I got to United States 6 months ago. I'm here living here. So I was doing my master back in Japan. So I came to Washington and this cherry blossom to remember some memories from Japan. It was amazing for me.
It's just nice to walk around, and it's beautiful, and we were just driving around this area, and so I was like, and we found a good parking spot. So if you can find a good parking spot near the cherry blossoms, I think it's required that you stop.
I think it's the beginning of a new year. Spring is when everything come back to life. So I'm here is because the spring is calling us.
The trees decorate some of the most iconic monuments in the district as people welcome spring and a chance to do so in person. The 4-week festival expects to welcome 1.5 million people in the nation's capital. In Washington, D.C., Daniela Jaramillo, South Florida Media Network.
Walt Disney World employees standing up for the LGBTQ+ community by walking out.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
Stop allowing organizations like the NCAA to perpetuate frauds on the public.
Governor DeSantis honoring a swimmer from Florida with an award he believes she should have won. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
If a natural disaster shows up at your doorstep, you can't just turn it away. That's why it's important to prepare for emergencies before they show up. Go to ready.gov/plan to find the tools and tips you need. And make a plan today.
You really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Governor DeSantis honoring a swimmer from Florida with an award he believes she should have won. Governor DeSantis calling out the NCAA after a transgender woman wins a national championship in swimming.
The debate about transgender athletes in competitive sports continues in a recent political stance by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Yesterday, he recognized Sarasota native Emma Wayans as the, quote, true winner. With an official legal document, the swimmer who came second to transgender athlete Leah Thomas.
Because she earned that. And we need to stop allowing organizations like the NCAA to perpetuate frauds on the public. And that's exactly what they're doing. They are putting ideology ahead of opportunity for women athletes.
This continues the ongoing debate in the country whether it is fair to allow transgender athletes to participate on teams that represent their gender identity. Disney employees protest Don't Say Gay bill. Yesterday, the resort workers staged walkouts at various locations as the bill makes its way to soon become law. As the workers wanted Disney to take a stronger stand against the bill, Disney CEO Bob Chapek apologizes for not speaking out sooner. Disney opposes the motion, saying on Instagram, "We oppose any legislation that infringes on basic human rights."
All the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Julian Davis.
And I'm Zitlali Solate. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.